Wait a minute, what are you going to do? You're cutting your top. You're cutting it in half.
What did I do? I took a Ranunculus top that I had and I cut it in half. Why did I do that? Because I didn't want to have to, well, okay, let me put it this way. I wanted to remake it. I didn't like the way this particular one set on my uh, body, I guess you could say. Every time I lifted my arms, it moved. And I didn't want to have to frog it and redo the absolute whole thing. So I thought the bottom part is knit up okay, and I like that. So why re-knit it? It's the exact width and size that I want, and it fits well. So what if I just cut off the top, which I did, remove the ranunculus part, frog that, which I did. Then you have to straighten out all the strands because they're very ripply. So I waited on that. I picked up the stitches in the bottom half. And then when my yarn was dry and ready to use, I knit the top half. And this is what I got. A boat neck sweater. I'd put it up near me, but I don't want to hit my microphone. And it worked. And I know I'm going to get more use out of this than that ranunculus top. Also because this is 100% cotton. It's from a company called About Strings. I think it's located out in the west coast of Canada. But you can order online through Amazon, which I have done. I've ordered directly or through Amazon. But it's a little bit heavy. And I know one might say, well, the ranunculus adds a bit of eyelet and texture and stuff, but I just didn't like the way it hung on my arms, and so I redid this one. And the way I finished the sleeves, instead of them sort of sticking straight out, I wanted to bring it down a bit. So I crocheted my edging around my sleeves. And to balance that out, I decided to crochet an edging on the bottom. So as if it was all designed that way, which it wasn't, or it was. I don't know. Anyway, so that gave me an idea. Any top that I'm not wearing on a regular basis, I decided to take apart. Now I have sliced into this one. This is not a ranunculus. This is a similar type design, but I created a different sort of pattern across the front. But the problem is I did not do any sort of shaping around the armhole area. And so it doesn't hang right. It's just like this yoke piece, and then there's the arms, and then there's a big gap underneath the arms. You can even see by the way it's designed here, it ends up being a big gap. So instead of re-knitting the whole bottom portion, I'm going to separate it from the top, and that's where I've begun this snip. And you just work your way through the threads along here, just gradually pull out the threads, and the whole thing will separate. And sometimes you can pull a thread right through like this. I'm doing this one online, and then you snip it. I don't have my scissors with me. Oh yes, I do. I'm in my art room, so I do have some supplies handy. My old sewing scissors that don't work all that well anymore. So you just pull the thread and you can get it right across like that. It's a very quick way to sort of frog an item without having to redo the whole portion. So what I'll do is I'll keep the bottom portion so I don't have to reknit it, and I'll pick up those stitches and I will frog this part, the top part, pull it all apart, straighten out the yarn, and then I will knit up this top in a different fashion. I might make it longer. I might even make more of a tank top style. Haven't decided, but that I got it started, I will finish it. That's what I always tell my husband. I started it, I will finish it. So he was saying to me, you're working, which top are you working on now? And have you got the green one done? I said, no, the green one wasn't done. And I was working on this one. which was a complete frog. And this is the yoke here. And I said the two sweaters are actually in a race. Which one's going to get done first? And the green won. So I'm working on this. I'm almost done. And then I got excited because I thought instead of doing a knit and purl ribbing along the top, which actually created a very nice effect when I was sewing it, instead of doing that, I decided to do something a little bit different, and I learned how to make an I-cord edging. So I did this I-cord edging on the back of the sweater. And that was a new thing for me. It's always fun to do new things. And I loved it. It was like, I can't wait to do the I-cord edging for the front. And now I'm thinking, where else can I do I-cord edging? So I'm almost done. I learned a few things. One is that when I'm knitting a sweater or a top, I need at least 14 inches from the underarm to the bottom of the garment. That's my sort of preferred length. And I know that in part because I've measured clothing like t-shirts and stuff that I own that I already like to wear that are comfortable, and it's a comfortable length. So, and sometimes I'll do 16 depending on the fabric. I think this one is going to be 16 inches from the underarm, which is right there, to the end. And of course, there's going to be a certain amount of ease. When you block it, it stretches out. I also learned that I need about 7 or 8 inches. I think 8 inches is probably my standard armhole length. So that means the bottom of your armhole to your shoulder. So I don't know if that's probably, well, it starts off 7 inches, let's say, and then by the time I get the edging around, it brings in just a little bit, but it's still wide enough for my arms, as you can see in the pictures. So those two things keep in mind. So you not only need to know the circumference, like how many stitches to put on your needle. In my case, it's no more than 210. Using a DK weight, which is a light strand weight. No more than 210, probably 180, somewhere in that range. And then knit the body, if I'm starting from the bottom going up, knit about 14, 16 inches, then start the armhole shaping and knit that for about 7, maybe 8 inches, depending on how much of a gap I want and how much it's going to stretch. I also learned that this is 100% cotton. It doesn't stretch the same as wool. So the wool has a lot of give to it, which is nice, okay? But you have to keep that in mind if you're wearing a certain garment. How much is it going to stretch on your body? How much is it going to stretch with wear? And how much do you want it to sort of give? So I learned that. Yeah, I know these are probably rudimentary things. People probably already know all this stuff, but for me, it's a learning curve. And you know what? You can read this stuff, and I haven't. I've heard people talk about it. But when you do it yourself, that's when it really gets in. Experience is a great teacher. So what else can I tell you that I learned? I learned about the cotton, the stretch, the measurements. I think that's about it for this week. Oh, and the I-cord edging. So I had a really fun time with the I-cord edging. That was the highlight of my week. Let's see if I can pull this up. This is going to go off the sleeve. I don't want to hit my microphone. So it's almost done. I like cotton for the summer months. This is cotton. This is 100% cotton. It is Pearl Soho. I think it has a tiny blend in it, maybe some acrylic. I'm not sure. I can't remember that. But if you look up the Pearl Soho website, you'll find out. And I have at least 3, maybe 4 tops in this picnic cotton, and it's very light. It's much lighter than the About Strings. The About Strings is like a worsted weight, a little bit under. But this is like the best cotton. If anybody's living in California can order from Pearl Soho and send me some yarn. Oh my goodness.
Wait a minute, what happened there? An emergency alert. Let's see that again. I thought it was really funny in watching it. That was an honest response.
Well, that was really funny. It's funny for me to watch it because I can see this surprised look. And you're not as pretty as you might think when you're genuinely alarmed. Anyways, okay. I was just saying, if anybody wants to order Pearl Soho and send it to me, fine. But you know what? I'm going to have to pay a duty, a tariff on it. So don't bother. I'll wait until maybe Trump is out of office. Because this picnic cotton is my favorite. And that's it for this week. I hope that it inspires you to knit a cotton top. I did want to say that there's a lot of boat neck patterns out there. You can even type in boat neck with cap sleeve. I happen to know a few things about myself, and that is any garments I've worn with boat necks or cap sleeves or, a combination of, they've worked well for me. So it can be important to know what looks good on you, what colors are right, what styles are good, and then try to repeat that or incorporate those elements in your knitting. So it's the time for summer tops, and that's what I'm going to be working on. So let me know what you're working on as well. Cheers.
I'm just going to let you know, what is our country coming to? That they have to test out the emergency alert system. Like, why? Are we going to be attacked? And if we are, where would I go? Well, it says it would tell us. Like, hit the basement? I live in a bungalow. That's not going to work. We live in a strange world nowadays. A lot of uncertainty.